I love that.
We have never been able to. We're recording. That's a shot right there. Okay, that's cool.
We are so excited right now.
We discovered something new.
Say it.
Okay, well, we just discovered something new. Okay, listen, we are fumbling through this thing. We are making it happen. We're learning as we go. And we just learned, we were recording on an iPhone previously. And we both got new
having major
technical difficulties,
issues.
But whatever. And we got these MacBook Pros, and all of the pieces that we purchased to plug into the phone actually plug into the laptop.
Yeah, because I was talking to Jay about it last night, and he was like, "What is going on?" Because he heard me and Bette talking about it, and he was like, "Why can't y'all record on those new Macs that you just bought?"
Yeah, and of
I was
course,
like, I don't know if we have all the connections and everything.
And we did this whole time.
Of course, because if you don't have Mac, go get one now. Because
yes, please get one.
Really
I converted her. Apple.
Yes.
I would like you to be our sponsor. Hear my words.
We are full.
I have convinced
on Apple.
many people to move to Apple. So, okay. Well, anyway.
Yeah.
Well,
welcome.
We haven't officially started the episode.
No.
Hold on. Let me wipe my nose. Okay.
We are real people.
Okay, we're real people. Okay, now we're officially going to start. Are we going to really use all?
I think we should.
Oh
yeah.
my God.
That's the kind of day we're having today.
Okay.
It's a good day.
Okay, make sure you're looking at
the green light.
Yes. Yeah.
Instead of at ourselves.
Okay, yeah.
Pause.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of And Now You Know with Bette and Julz. I'm Bette.
And I'm Julz.
And we are super excited today. Today we learned something new, and we have a whole new setup when it comes to the technology side of our podcast. So we're really excited.
It's a work in progress.
It is a work in progress.
I'm
but
telling ya.
What we want to, I guess our best advice or recommendation is don't wait for everything to be perfect before you start. Just throw yourself in there and figure it out as you go. That's what we're doing.
Just jump in. If you don't believe us, go watch episode 1. The technical difficulties that we had.
Yeah, we had a technical difficulty.
And you have to turn the volume up really loud to be able to hear it. Don't try to listen to it in your car.
Yeah, don't.
Just listen to it on your phone or whatever.
Put your little AirPods in.
But warning, when you hear the motorcycle come into the room, turn it down.
Turn it down because it gets loud.
It's really loud.
And then it totally, what's the word when you...
It'll rupture your eardrum.
Rupture. Thank you. Rupture your eardrum. We don't want that for you.
We're excited because we keep having these tests come up, and we keep taking them on with We own the challenge.
Yep.
And
own the challenge.
And that's just the way that life is. You've got to own the day, own the moment, own your brain and your thoughts, and just be a hold of all of that, and just rejoice in this day because it's the day that the Lord hath made. I went back to the old version.
I don't like the King James version. I'm just going to tell you.
It's hard to.
Yeah, I don't like all the
haths.
Not for me, but thanks. Yeah.
Now we're going to do it.
Now we're going to do it. Okay, let's really talk about what the topic is for today. Today's topic is Come As You Are. And Julz and I, literally, we were just having a conversation on our therapy couch.
Yeah, we have a couch right here in our
We have
office.
a couch, and normally either, one or the other, sometimes both, are laying on the couch and just, talking about whatever's going on in our lives. So today, we were having a conversation, and we're like, that's what we need to talk about today.
I was in session with Dr. Rivera today.
Yes. And Dr. Savage has also been instrumental in my life, in my journey.
We're not really doctors. We're not our PhDs in the School of Hard Knocks. But yes.
Anyway, so let's kick things off. So the first thing that I'm going to say, and we're just going to roll from there, that we were talking about how it came up, was that you come to a place in your life where you have to accept the fact that you can't change anyone. You can't. And really, it is a disservice to yourself, and it causes a lot of stress and unnecessary anxiety when you make it your mission to try to change people and force them into being something that they're not.
Well, and I mean, honestly, people aren't going to change until they come to a crossroads, or they hit the bottom of the pit, or, something has to occur to them. And I call it looking yourself in the mirror and being accountable to yourself.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to even realize what you're doing and how people are perceiving what you're doing until you can be honest with yourself.
Yep.
And so most people aren't going to change. And most people don't even look in the mirror.
Yep.
Quite frankly, I'm just, I'm going to say that. So until you reach a place of just like, I've got to fix this, or this is just not how I want to live my life.
Well, and this is going to apply literally to every area of your life. And I'm going to give an example. We've talked about the let them theory before and all of that. And part of that is that you just have to let them. But it's also accepting and releasing and surrendering that, any guilt, any resentment, any of that kind of stuff. For me, when it comes to past relationships, or even anybody that I'm meeting new, I know that I am sitting there across the table from somebody and I'm asking myself, am I willing to accept them as they are today without thinking in my mind, oh, I can change that about them. I can move this around, or I can do that. I don't operate from that. I used to. Where all of my, painful lessons came from is when I was trying to be a fixer. Yeah. And that came from codependency and also people pleasing and also, trying to really make everybody else the project when at the end of the day, the reality was I was the project. Well, I was my own project.
When you're a codependent or a people pleaser, it's so much easier to look at what
outside
is broken in someone else and go, ooh, I'm going to fix that. Because then you don't have to look at your own.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. That's kind of the lie that we tell ourselves. Yeah. The big distraction is what's going on out there that's a mess that I have to go fix, which what you're doing is completely avoiding the fact that there's some ugly that you have to look at here, and it's super uncomfortable. Most people don't want to do it. It's funny. I do a lot of personal development and, self-help conferences. I read a lot of books. So does Julz. We've done therapy, all that stuff. And, there is a statistic out there that talks about the percentage of people, of all people, that actually venture into themselves, to accept the responsibility, to actually really go back in there and look at the trauma, look at the wounds, make peace with all of that. And it's literally less than 5%. Yeah. And that's really scary.
There's a story in the Bible, and I think it's Elijah. I'm not sure. So y'all forgive me if I'm not getting this right, but we can look it up. But it's actually, he has a dream and an angel comes to him and tells him, you've got to go back to your place of pain before you can go further in this journey. And that's what we all need to do. We've got to go back to our places of pain. And here's the problem: if you don't, you're still living in that moment like it's still here. And so that place of pain, when you're 25, 30, 40, 50, 60, some people never go back to their place of pain and try to figure it out. And that's just how they live their lives. And I think that's when you end up sitting in your rocking chair on the front porch at 80, full of regrets. And, I've been struggling a lot lately, just with the things that the enemy loves to throw in my head, and I've got to, I trust you, Jesus. I trust you, Jesus. I've got to turn that around in my own thought process, because I refuse to give this passion project up, because this is proof that you can change at any point in your life and make it better, and not let that pain point that caused you your trauma to wreck all of your days. Just don't let it do that.
This entire thing is about what we've learned by having to stare at the pain and having to go through that and actually go back and take accountability for where things that happen to you, if you really stop for a moment and you take a really good look at it, you will realize that, I mean, it is all your responsibility. You have to accept full responsibility for everything that has happened. Now, do bad things happen to good people? Yes.
Yep.
There are absolute certain things that will happen, but there is also a quote that talks about no matter what is happening on the outside, you can't control any of that. What you can control is how you respond to it.
Yep.
And so, there are so many people in this world that live with stress, anxiety, anger, rage, addictions, all of those things, this cycle of continuous relationship issues. There's so many things that happen. And when you see chaos, this is what we have learned. When you see chaos happening out here, I actually, for me, am thinking to myself, what's happening to them in here?
Yeah.
Because
Always.
now we see it
Always.
from a totally different place. So now I'm thinking, what's going on behind that? Because it's never what's going on the surface that's really the problem. It is the root, which we always talk about the root.
Yeah.
Going down to the root, what caused that reaction? What caused that addiction? I say it all the time. Stuff like this, all of that kind of chaos and craziness and addictions and all of that, that doesn't happen for nothing.
That's just a symptom.
Yeah, that
of
is totally just
you're
a symptom.
Just using whether it's alcohol, whether it's drugs, whether it's, it can even look like something completely healthy that you are so hyper focused on and you're obsessed with it, but it's a way to avoid facing that pain and that trauma and dealing with it.
Yep.
And it's going to be there. It's hardwired until it's still going to be hardwired. I'm just going to tell you that. But if you give yourself a chance to go get some therapy, read some books, as Bette told me just a minute ago, enjoy the moment. I struggle still with enjoying moments. And it's just hardwired in me, and I can get triggered, and then I can flatline, and I just want to curl up in a ball and die, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Even though I'm in a wonderful marriage, I'm surrounded by love, but my trauma in my childhood hardwired me to be a survivor.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be a survivor. I want to be a thriver. And so you've got to give yourself those tools in your tool belt. And always be on top of it.
Absolutely. This is, I call myself a forever student. This is an ongoing check-in with yourself, with your soul. I have a practice of prayer and meditation and journaling and all of those things. And I make sure that I surround myself with people that they don't have to be perfect. They just have to also want to live and come from a place of peace and kind of surrender and, improvement, right?
Yeah.
So this is the part where we say, come as you are, because you have to accept the fact that we can't change anybody. Our responsibility is to make ourselves the best version of ourselves, right? And there's another quote that says, the best thing that I can do for everybody else is to work on me.
Yep.
That's the best thing I can do. And so for me, I'm going to focus in on that. I'm going to work on me, and I'm going to control the things that only I can control. But at the same time, when you recognize that you have people in your life that are not operating from the same place, it is your responsibility to protect your happiness, to protect your peace, to protect your family unit. It is your responsibility to then say, I accept you as you are, and I love you as you are, and there's nothing that you can do that will ever change my love for you. But if this is the choice that you want to make, I need to accept you as you are from over there.
Yeah. Yeah, and sometimes
Stay over there.
That doesn't just come in the form of people that you just meet. That can come in the form of family members.
Absolutely, that's what I mean.
It can come in the form of a spouse.
It could be a job that you need to get rid of.
It's every single thing. You need to be acutely aware of that, and you get to decide how you're treated by all these people that you encounter on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis. And you can hold them at arm's length. You can pull them into you. You can have these great moments with them and then put them back in a box and put them on a shelf. You have to figure out how much of you're going to let them suck out of you, because
Right.
there are emotional vampire. They will suck all your creamy goodness out of you
They will.
if you let them. And then there are people that you just love so much that they can land blast you with something from your past because they know everything about you, and it can be a trigger that man, it takes some time to recover from that.
And when that happens, I think that's a moment where you have to remind yourself of who you are and all the work that you've done,
Yep.
and kind of bring yourself back to a place of peace and meditation, and not to allow yourself to be emotionally hijacked that totally rocks you off your center, right? And it is hard to do. We're not perfect.
No.
So it is going to happen. You are going to be triggered, but it's the response. It's like not engaging in this chaos
Right.
outwardly, not engaging in it, a yelling match, not engaging in
Yeah.
whatever the situation is. It's reminding yourself who you are, what you're about, what you want for yourself, and then bringing you back to that place as quickly as possible.
And because of you finally recognizing who you are and you've done the work, then you do put some boundaries. No matter what the relationship is, you have to put boundaries around
Absolutely.
every single relationship that you have.
Yep.
Because everybody's going to be running amok if you don't. I mean, and
Been there, done that. Not doing that again.
Me too. I mean,
Yep.
because I am a giver, I'm a doer, and I have the gift of hospitality, but man, did I ever burn myself out
Yep.
doing that? I don't want to do it anymore. I just
Well,
don't.
and I will share with you something that a very wise person shared with me, is that you train people how to treat you.
You do.
It is absolutely your responsibility. How when you feel like people are taking advantage of you, when you feel like people are, pulling you in a million different directions, stop for a moment, take a deep breath, and realize that you're the one allowing it. And so you have the power to change it, and you get to now approach whoever it is, whatever, friend, family member, coworker, whoever it is, even your boss, even whoever. You have to then say, that doesn't work for me. I'm not okay with that. Instead, I would like X, Y, or Z, and make sure that you are very firm and still being kind and respectful of
Right.
whoever it is that you're talking to, because you can always come from a place of love, honesty, and respect. You can win with that.
Yeah.
Regardless of what you're going to say to somebody, if you are thinking about coming from a place of love, respect, and being kind, deliver whatever message you need to, but make sure that you are getting your point across, is that this is not okay with me. This doesn't
Right.
work for me. And if this is your behavior, here is my fence.
It's so
Here are my boundaries.
interesting.
You don't get to come over here.
I was just talking to a really good friend of mine this morning.
By the way, the person who was the wise, awesome person that shared that with me was her.
I'm going to say it again. I love you so much, Betty.
I love you too.
I just got goosebumps because it took a lot of hard knocks for me to be able to have anything that would help anyone in their lives, and that's all I really want to do. And now I lost my train of thought. Oh, I was talking to another one of my quarters this morning, and we had we had a loss of someone that we know, and then we just started talking and reflecting. And I mean, this is just such a good example. This was my job. I was a single mom at the time. I had already gone through therapy. I was dating Jay, but we weren't married. And so I was on my own with everything. And I needed a job because I had mouths to feed and, a mortgage payment and all this stuff. But my sister and my brother-in-law were going through a really devastating medical situation, and my brother-in-law was going to have a major surgery, and they were having to travel to another hospital to have this done. And I went in to my boss and I said, hey, I've got to take these days off next week. I need to be with my sister. And she told me no.
I remember her telling me the story several years ago, and tell them how you responded, because go
I
ahead.
said, well, I think that you misunderstood me. I wasn't asking if I could take the time off. I am taking the time off. And if it needs to be for a longer period of time to be with my sister, that's what I'll do. And if you need me to quit today so I can do that, I will. Because my sister and my brother-in-law and my family come way before this job, and I'll figure something out. That's you get to choose. And here's the deal. If you can say it with kindness and be bold, as another one of our quarters has taught us, be bold but kind. They didn't fire me. I got the days off. I got to be with my sister, and I'm so glad I did, because when they willed him off to go do surgery, she was there all by herself. Nobody else was there, and she almost collapsed. And I'm about to cry, because it's such an opportunity to show up for your loved ones, and nobody's going to tell me that I can't go be with my family in a very serious situation. I will always put them first.
Yep.
Always.
And by the way, this is a good time to, I have been a manager. I have led big teams of people. And what I will say is that if you have a manager or a boss or any kind of company policy that would say to you no in a situation like this, or any situation that you feel like, now it's different if you feel like you're just going to go, hang out and you're hungover, so you don't want to come to work. That's not what I'm talking about.
Well, that wasn't the kind of employee I was.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm talking about something like this, and you have somebody telling you no. I would quit immediately. And look, we both, as single parents, well, I'm still, she's not, but we take our responsibility, very seriously. Of course, we have people depending on us. We have, children to feed and take care of and protect. But at the same time, I am a resourceful person, so is she. Before anybody tries to tell me what I can and cannot do, I will absolutely quit that job, and I will figure it out and do whatever it takes in order to fulfill my responsibilities, but never be put in a position where I have to choose some company over my family.
No. I'll always pick my family.
Absolutely
Always.
not. And you know what? I'm going to throw a story in here, because I have a similar situation that happened. Although for me, it wasn't as serious. I was in college, and it was a wedding. I used to work in a bank when I was in college. I was a bank teller. And so I worked there a couple days a week, and then on Saturdays. And there was a Saturday that I was going to go to a wedding for a family friend. Now, I was giving plenty of notice to my boss at the time. And it was, honestly, I was a teller. It's not like I was running the place. I was just a teller.
They could switch the schedule.
They would be
up.
fine for a 5-hour shift. It was like 9 to 1. It wasn't even that 4 hours, not even that big of a deal. And my boss told me no for a wedding. It is a once in a lifetime for
control
a family
freak
friend.
What a weirdo. Sorry.
And so once again, my response, first of all, I stood there in shock, thinking when I said, before you finish the schedule, which was several weeks out, because I am responsible and I always have been. So I said, before you finish the schedule, I just wanted to let you know, this Saturday, that's like, 2 or 3 weeks later, I'm not going to be able to come because I have a family wedding to attend. And then she said, oh no, this is your responsibility. You will be here.
Sorry.
So I stood there in shock, and at that moment, I really didn't say anything, because I was like, maybe 20
it's
years
so
old.
funny now.
Yeah,
well, you're learning your lessons at this point. And
so I was 20 years, and I was just sitting there, and I was like, I don't think she heard me. I don't think she heard me.
I don't think she understood
So literally that following week, I handed in my resignation.
Yeah.
I don't need any more conversation. I handed in my resignation, and I made sure that my last day was that Friday before that Saturday
so
that I
awesome.
said I wasn't working.
This is just a good example
Yeah.
of believing people when they show you who you are,
Yep.
who they are, and you get to pick how you're treated,
Yep.
and you accept people for who they are and understand that. That
Yep.
doesn't mean that you accept them and roll over and let them control your life and tell you, no, you're not going to that wedding. No, you're not going to go with your sister and be with her. That's not what accepting them as they are means.
Absolutely not. That's not what that
means. You can do something. I quit a job on the spot one time because my boss got mad at me because I bought a gallon of cookies and cream ice cream from the Swan Man.
That doesn't even make sense to
Well,
me.
he got mad because he said I should have supported the local merchants in our town and I should be shopping at our grocery stores. And I was really young. I was, probably 22 or 23. And
Yeah.
I looked at him and I said, I'm getting my ice cream and I'm leaving and I'm not coming back ever
Yep.
again.
So-
See you. I'm going to eat the whole thing tonight too because they don't sell this at the grocery store. And Swan Man's cookies and ice cream is really good. Mm-hmm. And you're not going to tell me.
So let me tell you what.
So ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. And let me tell you what that turns into. I feel like that's a test.
Oh, it
I
is a
feel like
test.
all of these instances, they are tests. And what is going to happen if you give in and let them do that? This is now the first step in them knowing that they can control you
Well,
and they can manipulate you
yeah.
and they can tell you whatever it is, like, no, you can't do that. No, you can't do that. You have to show up on, on a Sunday when no one else is working, but
No.
you get to work. Like, the movie, there's a movie called, I think it's called Office, isn't it? Office Space or something like that.
Oh, I don't know. Who's in it?
I can't remember anybody that's in it right now. I can see it. But there's a guy who can't stand his boss, and his boss is constantly going out of his way. I think he's like irking him on purpose.
Yeah.
But he's constantly telling him, "Oh, I need you to do this. Oh, I need you to do that. Oh, I need you to work extra on this day." Constantly throwing all this stuff on him.
Chaos.
And he can't stand his boss. And finally, he does quit. Finally, he kind of pulls one over on him. But the fact is that if you are allowing this energy in your life, just stop now and get rid of it. Like, find it, honestly, don't be irresponsible and quit your job if you desperately need the means. But
go find a new one.
Find a new one. Life is too short. Okay, and at the time of the recording that we're recording this, we just found out the news. I mean, we're going to be posting this probably 8 weeks from now.
Yeah.
But at the time of this recording, we just found out yesterday of the death of Malcolm Jamal Warner. Yeah. And,
He
grew
was
up.
Theo.
Yeah, Theo Huxtable. I grew up watching everybody. I mean, everybody grew up watching that in my generation, my household. And to hear that news, that not only is it incredibly sad, he was only 54 years old, but life is short. We pretend like we have forever. We pretend like we're invincible. I mean, we don't. And so these little things that feel like they're constantly robbing you of
Taking
your
chunks.
joy, biting at your ankles, like
sucking your creamy goodness out of you.
and making you feel like if you ever feel this kind of gut response where you're sitting there thinking like, wait, how did I get to this moment?
Yeah.
Like when you ever feel that moment, that is a good time to really think about where you are and is this where you're meant to be? Is this bringing you closer to who you want to be, where you want to be, the people that you want to be surrounded by? If the answer is no, that's a great time to change that.
It is.
Change all of it.
And it's not, I mean, this is not just work. This is...
No, it's not.
I mean...
It's everything.
It's in dating. If a guy ghosts you, if a guy doesn't keep a commitment and it becomes a repetitive occurrence, he's testing you to see if you will say it's okay. Don't worry about it. I mean, if he cheats on you and you're like, I forgive you. We can live through this. We've got so much. Well, now he knows. Now he knows. There's a movie that. Some people might think it's cheesy, but Hello, Anne Hathaway, The Idea of You. And
I love that movie.
I know. And she was describing what it felt like really to be flatlined. And she was talking about her husband, the character in this movie. And he was having an affair with someone at work. And she offered to forgive him. And they had a daughter. And she said, we need to think about our family. And I love you. So let's just brush this one under the rug. And then she got the gut punch of, I don't want to forget about it. And they got a divorce, and he married his, lover on the side. And that's what it feels like. People learn how to treat you based upon what you allow them to do.
Yep.
And that's why you've got to accept people for who they are right now and either embrace them, hold them at arm's length, or Send them on their way.
Yep.
And you can be kind to them when you run into them.
And you can be kind to them. I think in most instances, depending on the history of the relationship, depending on maybe what circle it is, if it's family versus like coworker versus, maybe longtime friend or maybe it's somebody that you're seeing. I think that for me, in most cases, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm done with that. I do not carry baggage.
No.
I refuse. I'm not doing it. So for me, I'm done. Now, I do have a great level of grace for people that I think maybe this is new to them. Maybe they want to improve, or maybe helping them understand how they're coming at me, how it feels, so that they maybe have a little bit of a different perspective. If I see
technical difficulty.
We're all good, but I will edit that. I will edit that. So, okay, let me go back to.
You want to pause?
No.
Okay.
If I see that there's any kind of level of maybe like remorse or repentance and like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize, and I want to, make sure that we're on the same page, any kind of apology or at least a feeling of, I didn't realize and I want to do better, which is an apology really, but any kind of that, then I'm willing to say, okay, let's do this together.
Let's reboot.
Depending on the history of the relationship. But in most cases, I really think that, okay, you learn the lesson, you speak your truth, you say what you need to say, and I'm just not keeping people around that.
Well, and the problem with those apologies and your level of grace, my level of grace, is that sometimes those apologies are given, but then there's no change. And so then,
Been there, done that too.
They're showing you who they are, so you accept them where they're at, and you really should kick them to the curb at that point, especially if it's a romantic interest. It's like, if you're young and you're dating someone and they're doing this repetitive bullshit in your life, don't get out now.
Please.
I promise you.
Yep.
They're showing you who they are. Women especially have this misconception of believing that they are special enough to change someone. They're special. They can love them more than they've ever been loved. They can bring out the best in this person. You can't.
Or I could save him.
I can save him
from the addiction or from the whatever trauma.
I can love him more than anybody ever has. I did it. I'm here to tell you I did this repeatedly. And
guilty.
Yeah.
Guilty.
And I did. They did not change. I had to change. I had to change and realize that I am very special, by the way, but I don't want to give my special to that. I don't.
Yep.
I don't.
I have a just very clear understanding that for where I am in my life today, when it comes to like relationship wise, where I am today, I know what I want. I know what I don't want. Mm-hmm. I know what is going to align well with me. And what I do want is honest and real, and somebody who is working just as hard on themselves to make sure that they are appearing happy, healthy, and whole. That's who I want to partner with.
Yep.
I'm not looking for somebody that's going to be absolutely perfect, that, because that doesn't exist.
Because nobody's going to be
perfect. That doesn't exist. So are we going to have mistakes? Yes. Are we going to have maybe a little spat here or there? Yeah. Sure, whatever, that's fine. But if you can tell when somebody is committed to, living a life in a certain kind of way with peace, love, and harmony, peace, love, and joy, right? Yeah. You can tell versus somebody that absolutely always wants to be in chaos and in a victim mode or in a negative Nelly that constantly everything is always happening to them. Like, you can't change those people. You cannot change those people.
Some people just thrive in drama. I mean, if it's not happening, they will create it.
Yep.
And they will try to pull you in on it and hijack you, and no, step out of that circle. Don't do it, because you're just enabling bad behavior is what you're doing.
You're enabling.
We don't want to be an enabler either.
No, because it really, not only is it when you are enabling somebody else, I believe that it's giving them, like more fuel, right? Meanwhile, it is emptying you like literally to the bare bones. Like it is.
They are not going to
Not-
refill your cup.
They're not refilling your cup.
No, you got to have somebody.
You're on fumes.
Yeah.
While they're all
And they
flared
will,
up over there.
They will use you while you're on fumes too. I mean, and then you just, you really do flatline. You do. You can't even get up off the couch. I did that. I mean, so accept them the way that they are today.
Yes.
And that does not mean letting them, say I do or anything, or taking a job or having a deep, intimate
or stay in your
friendship.
circle or be your quarters or anything like that.
Protect yourself.
Protect yourself. But let people be themselves.
Yeah.
You have to let people be themselves.
You do.
It is not your responsibility to change anybody. And it is absolutely your responsibility to make yourself the best and highest version of yourself.
Yes. Yes.
And your happiness, it is 100% your responsibility.
And when you
it is not outside of you. It is your responsibility.
Oh my God. That was one of the biggest things that Jay and I talked about when we were first dating and really getting to know each other. And I just loved it so much because it just takes all the pressure off. It's like, I'm not responsible for your happiness. You're not responsible for mine. Of course, I'm not going to do things to wreck your happiness. I'm going to do everything I can to create happiness. But if you have moments of unhappiness, we can talk about it, but I can't fix it. Mm-hmm. And we live that way to this day. And we absolutely have each other's backs 100%. I have Betty's back. She's got mine. And I want to do things that make her happy because I love her and she loves me. And you just take a hold of those people who show up for you 100%.
Yep. And there are days that I show up when I need to lay on the couch and have a therapy session with my Dr. Savage.
Yeah.
And there are days where she comes in and it's vice versa. And we hold each other up.
Yep, we do.
But
we talk through it, and they're
those
like,
are the
"Oh,
people that belong in
yes,
your circle.
Right.
Not the ones that see you when you're down and they're secretly happy, because there are some people that also thrive when you're at your lowest.
Yep.
They're smiling.
They're
kind of celebrating because misery loves company.
And it's so weird because anytime you embark on a new journey or, anything, some of the people that you love will try to sabotage that because they don't want you to get to a higher level than them.
Yes, and jealousy, and it's their own personal insecurity. But that is a real thing, and that becomes super discouraging.
Yeah,
and so it makes you feel so sad that here you are trying to do something fun and great and bettering your life and trying to make a positive impact for other people, and then you have people that you thought were going to be your best supporters that are really kind of standing there secretly hoping that you fail. And that's not cool. That's when I kick them out of my circle.
They have to be kicked out of the circle. You accept them for who they are and say goodbye. Adios, amigos.
Yep.
She speaks Spanish.
Yeah.
That's how much Spanish I know. I can count to 10.
Yeah.
So I really kind of think that's a wrap.
I think that's a wrap.
Pay attention to who somebody is telling you they are. Don't, if you go out with a guy or whatever and, you want him so bad, he's checking all the boxes, but then he tells you one thing.
Yeah. Well, first of all, let's just say never want anybody that much that you're willing to change yourself for them.
If you are doing that,
is a no-go.
Are maybe codependent, or you really need to go to therapy and go to your pain point and figure out why you would be willing to diminish or decrease yourself. I did that repeatedly.
Yeah. And same with no job. No job is worth you changing yourself and shrinking, becoming less of yourself, dimming your own light, or feeling like you have to have a work character. And then when you leave work, you get to exhale and be yourself. That is not going to end well. That is not going to end well.
You're going to get drained. It's all they're going to stay plugged into you as long as they can.
Yep. As long as you let them.
As long as you let them, they're going to do it because they're you've already proven to them that you accept how they treat you.
Yep.
And so they're just going to keep doing it. So I could just talk about this forever and ever and ever, and I'd be kind of saying the same thing over and over again. But that's how important it is.
Yep.
because
These are-
I did reach a point of complete emptiness.
Right, right. These are lessons that we learned the hard way.
Yeah.
In every category, not just relationship, but we've had, challenges with family, challenges with employers. Like, we've had challenges in all areas. So we want to share it with you. And if you find yourself there, we're giving you our the recommendation, what we would do, what we think is in your best interest. But at the end of the day, we also can't change you either.
And
So-
I want to throw one more thing on here. Some people can really present themselves for years as being your best friend, or we had this happen. And
Oh, yeah.
and then
That was a gut punch.
When push comes to shove and things get hard and rough, they will stomp all over you and they will throw you out the door. What's that called? Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater or what? I don't know if that fits here, but they will discard of you or use you.
Well,
as
when
something-
it no longer benefits them,
right. When
then you
have,
realize.
when you have nothing else to help them,
Because you gave everything already.
right, and they will throw you on the ground and they will stomp on top of your head to climb up. They will toss you out to make sure that they get what they want.
Yep.
So just be hyper vigilant with the people, and you know it. You
You already
it.
know.
You do.
When that day comes, because it will, if people like that are in your life, when that day comes, you will say to yourself, I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew it. I should
Yeah.
have listened to myself, because I remember when X, Y, and Z, and you have all these examples in your mind that you knew that you needed to distance yourself from that person, but you didn't. Well, now here you are.
Yeah.
That happened to me.
Yeah.
That absolutely happened to me. And I remember I replayed it so many times in my mind of all the times that I knew I needed to detach and distance myself. And I stayed. And you get burned.
You
This
do.
is how you learn.
You do. And so just, again, okay, we're going to wrap it up because it is accept people where they're at.
Yep.
Recognize who they are. Believe who they are telling you that they are. And run if you need to.
Run.
You don't have to run. From all
You
of
don't
it.
have to run, but I mean, take a
You know
sharp
what we're
left
saying.
turn.
Yeah.
Anyway, so thank you for joining us today. We are so excited because of all the new things that are happening for us.
man.
So please continue to follow, subscribe, share with your family and friends. Anybody that you think, coworkers that you think might benefit from what we're talking about. We are now building quite the library, and I believe that we're quite binge worthy. So if you have not seen a lot of our episodes or all of our episodes, go back and take your time, but you can listen to them on a walk, you can on the drive to work, whenever you have 30-40 minutes, give yourself an opportunity. We think that this is really great, helpful information, life tips, life hacks that you can apply into your everyday life. So thank you for watching. Be sure to, any comments or feedback you can put down in the comment section. We so appreciate you spending a part of your day with us, and we will catch you on the next one. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Sorry. Bye. I hope it recorded the ending.
Oh, you mean that last
I
part
know
when
what
it shut
happened.
off?
I know what happened. Okay.
Well, the green light's on.